Hey, Amplifier. We're going to be going over the Officer Development Program. So you'll just follow me through an explanation sheet, overview sheet of the actual program. So if you want to follow me on that, you can actually go to the File Center here, go to the N drive, Training, Officer Development, Forms and Template, and then just click on the overview and that should pop up. So I'm just going to pull this overview over to my screen so you can see it. And we're just going to start off right here. I'm going to maximize that for you. So when the program was actually brought to the chiefs, the battalion chiefs, we had a meeting and we kind of went over it. We had union representation there too. And we went over the program, and it kind of, it's like, yeah, this is a go. Let's do this. But I really wasn't brought to the whole body. And I know some people had copies of it, and I think some battalion chiefs actually went out and did some work on it, like getting the information out. But it really formally wasn't brought out. So I think this is the best way. I mean, my phone's always, like I'm always a phone call away. But I think this will kind of answer a lot of questions. So let's just start off. So they decided to do the Officer Development Program. We've never had one. We've always talked about it, and we went ahead and just started this one up. Some ideas from other development programs, with some of our own ideas, some of our captains that, I know for myself that I respect, that had some great ideas, and we kind of just put it all together, took some classes at FDIC, and saw what other departments were doing. So we decided as a department that our goal is to have this program really up and running for 2020. And with this, our goal is to, by not this next captain's test, but the following captain's test, to work with their union and kind of have this as a mandatory program you need to get through in order to test for captain and also step up. So with that, our administration team has been very, I feel like very supportive with our guys, and they're allowing a lot of comp time to these classes to get done. But they've also done is a few of the classes we're going to be able to actually be, or a couple of them, mandatory classes. They felt as the classes, progressed, it was wow, these are good classes. I want everybody to have them. So there'll be couple of these classes, and I'll go over them with you, that are going to be mandatory, and there'll be overtime with that. So the program here will start. It should take like a year to 2 years to complete the program, and we have some qualifications that you have to have in order to start the program. The first one will be the blue card NFD Command and Control certified. So you must have taken the 50-hour initial course and taken the CTC, the 1 day or 2 day course, either the new one that we're offering now, that's NFD, or the blue card CTC. You have to have that done. Next, you have to be senior firefighter level, okay? And that's pretty spelled out on how to become senior firefighter. The third one, and this one is this one I've had the most questions on, is we want you, by the time you enter this program, have taken one of the 4 Command and Control Series classes that the NFA offers, and they offer these classes back at the NFA. Our department is totally supportive. If you get accepted to go to these classes, they'll pay you to go there with comp time. They'll pay you to fly there, and you can take that course. Everyone I've applied for, I've gotten into, and it's not that I'm anything special. I think they are actually looking for people. So I think it's a good course. I've learned a lot from the courses. We've also I took one of the courses, the 5-day courses here at Boise. And then we've also had the 2-day classes, the PICO classes, offered on and off for the last 20 years. I know we just finished one up in Boise a couple weeks ago, but we're really working hard with the state now, and we have different people in training that have better relationships with the state. And I know Dean over there is totally working with us with offering, the state can offer these classes for free to us. So we're looking at 1 or 2 classes a year to offer to you, so they'll be there. Now, our goal is for our guys, when they get their 1 year done, get in one of those NFA classes. You have 3 years to do it before you're eligible to start the program. And we want this as kind of like a guidance, something that they can work towards. Now, for the people that are like entering, this is a brand new, officer development program. They're just, applying and they're like, whoa, I haven't taken this class. What we're going to do is just work with you. So apply. We're going to put you into the class, but our expectations are we want you to take the class within the next year and a half. Okay, so one of those classes. And we're going to make sure that they're offered to you here locally. Or I'll help you with filling that application out to take an NFA class back at Annapolis. Back over at the NFA. So here we go. So that kind of covers the prerequisites there. So you filled out the application on the class request. Now what? Once the deadline's done, what you're going to do is you're going to receive a letter. And this letter is going to be, it's going to look like this here. And this letter will pretty much say, that's actually here. Sorry. So it's the officer development qualification letter. It's going to say, yes, congratulations, you've met the qualifications. Now, what we want you to do is get a letter of recommendation from your captain that endorses your ability to complete the officer development program and confirms your aptitude in becoming an officer. This can be any captain online. We want this letter from them. We also want a letter from your existing battalion chief. Now we're trying to make this easier. Right now we're in the process of creating an actual template letter, so your BC or your captain can just go to the N drive and find that letter. With that letter, they'll just fill it in. And you think, well, why have this letter? Well, one, at this point, we're not going to, and the captains and your battalion chief aren't going to say, no, I don't recommend you. They're going to fill out the letter, but it's going to have that conversation with you and your officer. And at that point, they can even tell you, like, hey, I really feel like you need to work on this, and you need to work on this or that. And I'm not sure if you're really ready. I think you need to change this behavior, but here's your letter of recommendation. I still am going to complete it. They have that conversation. It also, think about that first year firefighter. He just gets done with his senior firefighter level, and we want those guys to come into this 4-year mark and get in this program with, wanting to like have achieved things and really like done well as a firefighter. So when they come to this captain or they come to their battalion chief, they're feeling confident about getting a good letter of recommendation. So it kind of just is like a carrot, like a goal for them. The other thing you're going to fill out is the 5 for me, 5 for you form. Okay, this form will I'm going to pull that over for you here. This form you're going to fill out on this side right here. You're gonna give 5, and you just click and tap in and enter your information here. It's really what your expectations are from the training division, from your battalion chief, and from your captain. What your expectations are in this program. Like, what do you want to achieve here in this program? What expectations do you want these guys to give you? Okay, like how do you want them to help you succeed and be a better officer? You're going to fill those 5 out. You're going to go ahead and email a copy to the training division, to myself, to Chief Mucci, and to Captain Bright, or whoever's in these positions. And then we're going to take those and get with your captain and your battalion chief, and we're going to work on the second page. And these are our 5 for you. We want to know what our expectations are from you during this program, and what the plan for you to achieve this program, and what we can do to help you on that part, and what you can do to make you a better officer candidate. So you'll fill this form out. Once the captain and the battalion chief get it, we're going to go ahead and meet up with the training division. They're going to fill that out, and then we're going to have a meeting together. Okay, and that's just right before you start the program. So I want to backtrack a little bit. I want to backtrack to the actual one of the qualifications to get into the program. I wanted to hit that really before this part, the 5 for me and the 5 for you in the letters. is the years of service. I want to make sure everybody really understands this part. So I kind of made a little, it looks like something you would see on a tax return, but virtually we want 4 years of experience, and really 2 of those years must be as a Napa firefighter experience. We're getting a lot of laterals, and we're getting with a lot of experience, which is great, but we still want, before people start the officer program, we want them to have 2 years of actually online Napa firefighting experience. So to fill out this form, here years employed as an online Napa firefighter. So let's say I've been on Napa Fire for 3 years. I put a 3 in here. And total years employed at a paid fire department. So I'm going to take that, and let's say I worked for 2 years and 1 month. So I would round down to 2 years, and I'd fill 2 years in right here. Now I multiply that box by 50%. We're going to give you 50% of your past experience year. So 2 by 50% would be 1 right here. Now I'm going to enter the box 3 into box 4. Box 4 can be no greater than 2. Okay, I'm 1. I put the 1 right here. I have 3 years here. It totals to 4. I add them together. That's my total qualified years. I have 4 years of qualification. Okay. We talked about the application process on the other form, the letter of recommendation written by an NFD officer, a letter of recommendation from the current battalion chief. The application form, we already filled that out. That's during the actual training request form, and then completed 5 for you and 5 for me. Now, we're going to get into the actual classes. So, for this first year and possibly the second year, almost all of the classes are going to be offered to everyone. I think there's 3 classes, and we'll specify those classes that aren't offered to everyone. We either have them on mandatory overtime or offered 2 to 3 times, or we'll have them offered on duty 4-hour blocks. We're going to rotate crews through. Okay, it just depends on the class. So let's just start off with administrative classes that we're going to hit. So we want to have people a little more efficient in using Microsoft Office software. That's Excel, Word, and Outlook. Okay, how to use your Outlook calendar, how to use Microsoft Word to its full potential, how to use Excel. Now, you may never use this as an officer, but I found myself, even as a driver and as an officer, taking on projects. Understanding Microsoft Excel made things a lot easier for me. It'll help you with, if you have an AOR, understanding Excel. And the biggest thing is we're trying to mold these guys, our officers, not only to be company officers, but to be battalion chiefs, to be future, deputy and division chiefs. And if you've asked any one of our chiefs, if they had a better knowledge of Excel, Word, and Outlook prior to becoming chiefs, I'm sure they would say, it would have been a huge benefit. So we're really trying to just develop our leaders with this class. So this class, we're still working the bugs out on this, whether it's going to be actually at a separate company or we're going to hire somebody to come in and teach this class, a 4-hour class. We're still working on that one. The next class, behind the badge, excuse me. So behind the badge, and this is going to be kind of the back scenes of being an officer. It's the understanding how to create reports in all of the programs that we use. It's how to use target solutions. It's how to use Firehouse and how to use Telestaff. So it goes over all of that, how to write fire reports and what our expectations are. So while we're building this class, and we have multiple captains, we have Jay working on this, we have Chief White working on this, developing this class, we're having meetings, we're hitting objectives. It's really to make it to where, as an officer, we don't rely so much on our BC. And I've been there, like I had to do an injury report once. It was horrible trying to find it. And these guys are actually making it more simplified on the reports. You can already see some of the stuff that's coming out, that's happening when they're building this course. And we're trying to make it to where, like SharePoint, like we look at our N drive is just a mess, right? And we have this thing called SharePoint, and it's really nice because you can access it from anywhere, like your computer, your phone, anywhere. And we could virtually, we're trying to like convert into this SharePoint. So the more knowledge we have on using it, the easier it's going to be as an officer. So that class will be a 4-hour class, and that's going to be a class that's going to be offered to everybody in the department. So we're going to be running crews through there. So even if you're not in the program, you're going to get a certificate showing that you actually, this is a class that you actually took, and that's part of the officer development program. So you take this class, and then next year you enroll in the officer development program, you'll have your class certificate saying that you've taken the class. Okay. Now we're going to get into state certified classes. I'm not like a huge fan of state certified classes, but I do feel like there are some benefits, and I think Fire Officer 1 would be one of those. After talking to many people who have taken the Fire Officer 1, this is going to be solely for people that are enrolled into the officer development program. So not everyone's going to take this class. So the way that's going to work is when you actually get accepted into the program, we're going to give you your Fire Officer 1 book. You're going to have a access code to go into the resource 1 through IVSTA, and what our expectations are is to go through that book chapter by chapter, take the test and the quiz. We'll be monitoring your progress on that. So before you actually finish up this program, you'll have to get through the Fire Officer 1 quizzes and test and read through the book. With that, we'll probably have a couple, maybe a day of classroom for the people that are involved in the officer development program. But to start, you'll just be doing kind of self-study while you're at the station on that. The next class is reading buildings. So if you're not familiar with reading buildings, that's Dave Dotson, John Mittendorf. Dotson being reading smokes. Mittendorf's been involved. I actually took a strategy and tactics class from him a long time ago. He's an LA City guy. They put together a book, and I really feel it is so much better than Brannigan's. I'm a Brannigan's instructor. I love Brannigan's, but Brannigan's is more of I would call it more of a dictionary. It has a lot of terminology and a lot of stuff that really, like, okay, I know this now, but really, how does it affect me on fighting fires? This reading buildings class will be a little bit more like towards our buildings in our area. It'll go over why you need to know the different building types, constructions, and you'll be actually seeing a lot of buildings that are on fire and making decisions on why would you do this or that, and anticipating fire spread and smoke spread by knowing these building types. This class, we're actually Captain Elkins is taking the lead on this one. I'm helping him out. I'll be instructing this one, and what we're doing is we're actually going through chapter at a time, creating our own PowerPoint, and we're creating our own test questions from that. Part of it will be on your own, kind of reading and taking the test through Target Solutions, and then we're going to give you like one solid day of classroom time, maybe 2 days, and we're just going to be showing you slides of buildings, local buildings, slides, different buildings, and you're going to be talking about, where characteristics of the building, where do you want to make access, that kind of thing. So that will be offered. That's going to be definitely offered to the candidates. We might have some leeway to actually offer it to guys online. We're still looking at that, but that will be sometime, I think, in like August. Okay. Let's get down to operational classes. So with these classes, talking to a lot of people that go through officer development, they always, the number one thing I hear is, we never went over like how to fight fires. We went over how to, be a leader, a fire officer 1, fire safety officer, those kind of canned classes, but really didn't go over like seeing buildings, practicing size up, practicing your tactical decision making. So what we've done on this class is we're gonna, it's still in the makes. I think it's going to turn into an 8-hour class, and it's right now we're looking at making it possibly mandatory overtime. So a lot of things are changing. We're changing our tactical. We're actually creating a tactical worksheets that are using a lot of the blue card communication model, but are our own pre-assignments, how we're going to size up, how we're going to manage fires. It's going to be a lot of seeing fires, running through slides. Part of it will be even being outside and doing that while you're masked up and managing fire. So it should be a pretty exciting class. We're working on it right now. We'll keep you updated on that one, and that one will be offered to the whole department. The next one is NAPA Firefighter Resiliency class. So during our last academy, we had an instructor come in, our own Eric Haskins, in class that he's taught for other people, other departments, and I thought it was a really good class for our guys. And we're working with St. Luke's, and we're trying to do a possibly like a joint training through Eric and St. Luke's resiliency instructor. So this would be a 4-hour class offered to everybody through the department. It'd be a mandatory class to take for the officer development program. So this class I think we have on schedule already later in the year, and so we'll keep you posted on that one. So the NFD leadership course. So this one we've been spending a lot of time on. We have chiefs, we have captains, and the way I looked at this, I talked to a lot of captains about it, and they were really excited about it. So I said, hey, you want to join the team? Let's create our class. What I didn't want was just like a death by PowerPoint leadership class, and I really started thinking about okay, I think one of the questions on my one of the interviews was what's your leadership style, and I'm like, I really don't know. I just know that this is what I like to do, and I started thinking about the people that are great leaders that I really liked and looked as role models and learned from, and I thought, well, what exactly is their leadership style? And I wasn't sure either. So I thought, let's just get these guys together and let's talk a little bit about their leadership style, which when I told them, asked them what their leadership style, they had the same blank look. But it's like, you know what? I know you guys, you guys do things that are great, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I just want to bottle it up and then save it and then give it to everybody down the road, and so we've been working on that. It's pretty exciting. It's quick. It's moving a lot from one instructor to another instructor. So it's going to be an 8-hour class, and that one will be offered to the whole department, and that is the one that's going to be mandatory overtime. So we're looking at dates right now in the spring, late spring. So we'll keep you posted on that. Now, firefighting functional movement class. This is a 4-hour class that Captain Beauvais puts on. He's put it on a little bit through our department, but he's been doing it for our cadre for the for our last couple academies, and he's been traveling a little bit doing the same class for other fire departments, and I really felt it was beneficial for me as a cadre, going out and running PT for recruits. We were so successful, I felt, on the last academy because we really pushed good proper mechanical movement, when you're the functional movements when we're doing our workouts. And our last academy, we didn't have any injuries, and we saw huge gains, and I really owe that to that class. So I thought, you know what, as an officer, you need to lead by example, and knowing putting together group workouts, that you would have this class to make sure that your guys aren't getting hurt, and then if you are putting a workout together, a crew workout, that you're doing it right. So this class will be offered through the whole department, 4-hour class. Now, the book review and writing course. This is going to be for just the people that are enrolled in the officer development program. I've already had multiple phone calls on this one. And let me just go over it with you. So what we're doing is we're paying for a CWI instructor who's done some writing courses for the police officers through their program there. And he's also a high school teacher. And I told him, I said, listen, I want to have, we're going to have some book reviews, but I want our guys to understand, some of the basic principles of grammar and formatting, and then how to do this class. So with that, we're going to hire him to teach a 4-hour class to everybody that's involved in the officer development program. After that 4-hour class, and it's going to be based off of one book, okay? That one book, we're going to go over how, to put the review together, go over different punctual, different grammars, and then for 4 hours. Then what he's going to do is he's going to be communicating with you via email for the next couple months, going over your book review. So you can send questions. You can actually send copies to him. He'll grade it for you. He'll go over it with you. And then by the end, you'll have the final product that that's going to be given to us in the training division. That's that's a 4-page book review on the book, same book that we're all reading, which we'll give to you, and you'll learn some of those basic skills. Some of the questions I've had is like, why should an officer have to know like college level writing? Well, if you ask any, for myself, like writing this program, I mean, having some understanding, and I wish I had more of it. I wish I had this book review class back in the day. Doing emails, working on SOPs, just having good writing skills will just make you a better officer and a better chief down the road. So I had somebody sit in my office asking me about like, well, he brought up, well, look at our chiefs in the past, some of the bad emails they've sent out and how horrible they are. Why are they expecting us to do that? And I said, well, our chiefs know that, and our chiefs are giving you the opportunity to take that officer development class, writing class. So when you are a chief, you can have good emails and put out policies that are well written. So I think it's just a really good thing. If you have some problems with it, give me a call. We can talk about it. But that's how that works. So you'll have 2 books. One of them we're going to choose for you. The other one, we're going to have a list of books. If you find a book that you really want, you can actually come to us and like we'll say, yeah, that's a good book. We'll use that one. So you'll do 2 4-page book reviews, read 2 books. We're going to give you multiple ones to read. If you want to read more, that's fine too. So that's how that works. All right, guys, now we're going to get to the practical portion of the officer development program. And this is part of the hands-on portion. You'll be working with your company officer. And part of that, we kind of talk a little bit about here, is staffing for success. So we're going to do the best we can to get you on an engine with a company officer sitting in the front seat. Now, there may be some times where we just don't have the staffing for that, and you got to just be, understanding on that. Growth with safety. We want your officers, and we're going to talk to the officers, to let you make mistakes. That's how you learn. As long as it's not a bad mistake to where it can cause injury to somebody, and it kind of just goes over it there. They're going to have an evaluation form, so at the end of the shift, for 48 hours, they'll give you an actual evaluation form that we'll have finished up here shortly. Now, how many hours do you need? 720 hours is what we're asking. It seems like a lot of hours, but if you look at it, it's virtually, if you were 6 months, you were half of the time in the seat, you'll complete those 720 hours. While you're in the seat, and during those days, you have to actually put together 10 crew workouts. And what we hope for is either getting with your fitness person for that shift, or you refer back to your functional movement class and put together 10 crew workouts, and then you document those 10 crew workouts. We want you to do 10 crew drills. These are drills that are you and your actual crew put together, like throwing ladder drill, or an air pack drill, or hose movement drill. 10 of them that you need to document. You need to do 1 shift drill. So get with your battalion chief and set up a drill that's the whole shift's involved. Whether it's a size up drill, a radio drill, a multi-company drill. 1 drill during that time that you'll have to document. Some of the things we're going to ask you to do during that 720 hours is you're going to do some report. You have to do like a fire report. You're going to have to do a ALS SO chart. You're just going to have to either review it or write one. Work with the EMS training officer with that. You will also have to do an injury report, whether it's a true injury, but most likely just a fake injury report, just to practice doing one. You'll have to do a Tenzinga or whatever type of software we're using for evaluations, do one of those. And you'll also have to do 5 building pre-plans. And that's just going out with your crew, scheduling a building and walking through, looking at different hazards and looking at different, talk about different strategy and tactics for that building. And with that is your officer development program. So this is definitely something, this is our first one we put together. So we can just expect there's going to be some changes. We're always interested in your feedback.